performing pious activities. What to speak of sinful activities? However, there is a third kind of activity that's mentioned, and that is called akarma, spiritual activity, which means activities performed for the pleasure and satisfaction of and in accordance with the teachings of Lord Krishna, as he describes in the Bhagavad Gita. So these activities are transcendental, which means they transcend the material. They transcend the pious and the sinful. So when one accumulates such spiritual activities, like we come to the temple, have darshan of Lord Krishna, we chant Lord Krishna's names, we take his prasadam. So we accumulate these spiritual activities, and as the lives go by, a time comes when the capital we have accumulated, so to speak, of that spiritual activities is so vast that we spontaneously take to very serious devotional service. Now it is not just another activity that we do, it is the main activity we do. It becomes the focus of our life, even if we are in household life, even if we have a profession and a business and so on. So then we understand the goal of my life is not in this world. Even as I perform my different responsibilities and execute my duties in this world responsibly, my goal is beyond. And then I take to this process of devotional service, which is called bhakti or bhakti yoga, very seriously. And then I rise beyond the pap and punya, the pious and the sinful activities. And eventually when I attain perfection in that path, then I reach the spiritual world. And I'm relieved permanently of this cycle of birth and death. So there is a nice verse in the scripture which goes, Punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Iha sansare bahudustare, kripaya pare pahi murare. So in this verse, a great saint, he is praying to God, O Murari, O Krishna, this material world is full of suffering, birth, death, old age, disease, and innumerable such other sufferings. Please release me once and for all from this world of suffering. And what does this world of suffering include? Punarapi jananam, to take birth again. Punarapi maranam, to die again. And after death, punarapi janani jatare shayanam, again to lie in a mother's womb for 9 months. And then the process goes on and on and on. So now human life is an excellent opportunity where we can put a full stop to this. Otherwise, death is like a comma. But as pure devotees, our death will become a full stop. No more journeying in this world of misery again and accepting a material body which is an incompatible combination with the soul, because the soul is spiritual, it is eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. But the body is exactly the opposite. So when we focus on the body, we have to be born again and again. When we focus on the soul, we will be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Yes.
Death has got no age. Why and who decide when it is going to come?
What was the first sentence?
Death has got no age.
Death has no age. Yes.
Whenever.
Death can come at any time. Yes.
Who decides and why?
Who decides that? That is decided according to our karma of the previous lives. When we are born in this world, it is already decided. The number of breaths that we're going to take is decided according to the karma of our previous life. The amount of happiness and distress we're going to face in this life is also decided. So by our present karma, we are determining our future life and lives ahead. So we see some people, some children die in the womb. Some children die just after birth. Some die in infancy. some in childhood, some in teenage, some in adulthood, some in middle age, some in old age, some in ripe old age. People die at different times due to different reasons. And this is all dependent on the karma that we have performed in the previous lives. It's a science that Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Yes.
What happens if we do a lot of good karma in this life, but we die unexpected death? So in a car accident or a murder, if you're murdered, or you commit suicide, what happens to you before you go into the next life? And even though you spend the whole life doing good karma.
Your question is, and I'm repeating for in case somebody has not heard it. Your question is that what if one has spent all one's life doing good karma, but dies an unnatural death or a premature death, let's say in young age, or dies in an accident or something of that sort? Well, the first question is that we have to distinguish what good karma is. We have to remember the three types of karma I talked about. So which kind of good karma are we talking about? We have to be clear about that. If the good karma we're talking about is that we have accumulated a sufficient amount of spiritual karma, akarma, devotional activities, devotional credits, so to speak, and then if we die an unnatural death, it depends on how much we have achieved. If we have already attained perfection of life at that time, then we will be liberated from the cycle of birth and death and go to the spiritual world. If we have done something or a lot in devotional life but not yet attained perfection, then we will be born in a devotee family, a family that is seriously practicing devotional life. And we will get an opportunity right from childhood, from birth, indeed from the womb of our mother, to practice this. And then in that life we will be able to attain perfection. If one has attained only a little bit of progress on the devotional path, then one goes to the higher planets in the world, in the universe, and then after being there for a long time, one descends again into a pious family and continues one's journey as before. If one has very little or no spiritual piety, then it's a question of the good karma, bad karma on the material plane. If one has done good karma predominantly, then one will get a better birth from a material point of view, which we have some comforts and maybe a wealthy family or something like that. If we have done a lot of bad karma, then we'll be born in a bad, quote unquote, bad circumstance. So that is what happens. So regardless of whether we die early or we die old, as I mentioned, the time duration is more or less fixed when we come. Yes, but voluntarily giving ourselves death is not a good thing. All right? Okay.
I have a question. It said that like if you are a devotee of Krishna, Krishna can change your karma. If you came with certain karma to this world, you become a devotee of Krishna and you accumulate many devotional service, like Krishna can manipulate your karma so it's not as bad as it was meant to be. I mean, that's what I have heard that devotees said on this. Like if you were meant to have like cut your arm or no, you cut your finger or something like everything
Okay.
becomes like Krishna manipulates what the bad
Yeah.
things that they're meant to have it to do and make them small. I mean, I thought
Okay,
that
if I understood your question, it is that when you become a devotee of Lord Krishna, then Krishna can interfere with the way your karma is working. And if you were destined to get something small, then you end up, if you're destined to get something big in terms of suffering, like losing your hand or something, you may end up just getting a cut on the finger or something like that. Yes, that is a fact. Because we have lots of pious and impious karma in our account book. And when we come to the devotional path and we start accumulating devotional credits and we serve Lord Krishna, then actually these pious and impious activities are erased, they are burnt up. And therefore the process of getting freed from these pious and impious activities is hastened. So performing devotional activities becomes like a catalyst to quickly destroy whatever past karma we may have had on the material platform. And then we have only our spiritual quota left, our spiritual karma accumulated. And that will eventually lead us to the point of pure devotion to Lord Krishna. So yes, the spiritual things will eliminate our karma. In fact, that is the only way we can do that. Okay? By the way, how much time do we have? I have time, but I do not know your timetable and how you are, but for me it's not. I'm comfortable to sit.
I just want to ask you that the spiritual thing is only thing for the next life, not in this life. You take a spiritual, then your suffering in this life can go. It's only you're building up for your next life.
Okay, your question is that if you perform spiritual activities in this life, specifically devotional activities, is it something that can help you only in the next life?
Yeah.
Or is it also something that can help you now? Well, it's both. You see, Susukham kartum avyayam. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that not only will this help you attain the spiritual world, or at the very least a higher destination in the next life, but it will help you to live happily. Susukham. Not just sukham. Sukham means happiness. Susukham means a lot of happiness. It will help you to live happily within this world. And even though miseries may come, but we will not be touched by them. We will be equipped with the skill and the mental faculty and the strength to be able to withstand these things and remain equipoised even in the face of much distress and pain. So there is no guarantee that suffering will not come. Indeed, because the nature of this world is like that, suffering will come. We will have to get old. We will have to get diseased. We will have to die. We will also experience so many things in nature, in life. Those things will happen. But our consciousness will change. And also because we have stopped committing sinful activities, so therefore our life will now become pure. And when there is purity, the light of knowledge dawns in. It automatically gives us so much spiritual happiness and peace. You are at peace with the world, even if the world is not at peace with you, but you are at peace with the world. So it certainly helps us even in this life. Okay? Yes, all right, one last question.
You know when something bad happens to you, it's settled by a person who's the nearest to you. Because then you say about you pass permanently something. So what happens to that person?
I don't think I heard you properly, but let me repeat the question. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your question is that if we get some pain from a person who's very close to us, yes? Does it also indicate some bad karma?
So who has the bad? Is it our previous bad karmas or the person?
Okay, so if we receive a lot of pain from someone who's very close to us, is it because of our past karma or the other person's past karma? Both. We have some accounts to settle from previous lives. Some debit credits have to go on. So that is settled in this life. And often pain is caused by those who are very close to us, planted in our life, so to speak, for settling of that account, that karmic account that goes on.
So does the person causing the pain, does he cause himself another karma?
Does the person causing the pain cause himself further karmic reactions? Yes. We receive the karma because we have done something in the past to someone, somewhere, we do not know. So we receive that pain. And the person who's inflicting the pain will in turn receive the reactions to his activities in future from somebody. Please say that again.
Who decides
Who decides?
that person to do the karmas?
Yes, this is all being arranged under the divine superintendence of Lord Krishna, not directly, but he has this material world. And just like a very big, wealthy person may have many factories and companies, and he has his executives who execute his orders. He just tells them, I want such and such, and they do the whole thing. So similarly, it's not that Lord Krishna personally intervenes, but it happens under his supervision. He has his agents, his appointed agents, and we'll know more about that when we study Bhagavad Gita, who actually manage all these affairs. Every single living entity's karma, every single karma of every single entity is being recorded. And then there is an appropriate reaction for every karma that is performed. Yes, so the higher authorities in this universe who are empowered by Lord Krishna to do these things, they are there. There is something called a judgment. When the departed soul will go, and then Yamaraj, you've heard of Yamaraj, Yam. He will decide what our actions are and what kind of destination we meant to receive. Inasmuch as a judge in a court will decide, whether we're innocent or guilty and what our sentence will be and so on. So there is a perfect arrangement in the universe at a very subtle level. We can't see that with our microscopes and telescopes and with our mathematics. But just as there is arrangement in any country for laws and justice and so on, there is also a perfect arrangement in the universe. Okay, so I would like to thank you all very much for your kind attention. And once again, I offer my heartfelt condolences to all of you, and especially to Sunil and Anjali. And we hope and pray at the lotus feet of Sri Radha Gokulananda that they will bless Mr. Bhandari in his onward journeys and help him to perfect his life so he may never return again in this material world of misery. And I wish you all also all the best on this onward spiritual journey in your respective lives. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Can we express our token of appreciation to His Holiness Bhakti Viswanath Maharaj. Maharaj has been so busy, and I requested him only literally 2 days ago to come and please address the family. So again, thank you so much for enlightening us.
It's a pleasure.
And it's so heartening to see that everybody just gets glued to what you speak, because you speak so beautifully from such a pure heart. We would be serving prasad dinner in that corner room, which is the prasadam room, just down the corridor on the right hand side. For everybody, please do not go without having prasad. And we wanted to offer a CD which will be there at the reception, so please take it before you leave. It's Hare Krishna Mahamantra in 6 different melodies, and just help your journey of life when you're driving, when you're meditating. Just slowly get into your heart and make, as Maharaj said, get rid of all the miseries and anxieties and fear. Please do take that. And again, I think the family wants to just meet Maharaj for a few minutes. So we will, if anybody else wants to meet Maharaj for a few minutes, it's fine. Otherwise, please proceed to the prasadam room, and please do take prasad before you go. And thank you very much all for coming. And I just wanted to express my also thanks to the team who looked after us organizing this program. My first special thanks to Radhavinoda Prabhu, who is a very senior devotee for the Kirtan. Neela Mother Prabhu is not here, but he's organized the whole event. Gautama Prabhu, you'll see a very tall gentleman with no sweater. He's everywhere to help us with the CDs and the prasad, and all the team who has cooked and then brought the prasad and served. So I think the family also wants to help serving as well. So please do this prasad, and thank you very much for coming. Hare Krishna.